the best prime lock build in the game. You get unlimited on-ball steals, can intercept every lane pass that comes your way, can still protect the basket with chase down blocks, can stop 7-foot centers from dunking with your high interior, can soar through the air to snag boards, you still finish strong in the paint with aggressive dunks, can shoot contested shots over defenders no problem, and can even shoot it well beyond the line for easy, limitless threes. This build is broken. Yeah. What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy Swag back at it again with another video. Today, I'm finally dropping the suit for y'all boys, man. This is what y'all been spamming me about on my streams, on Twitter. When you dropping the build? When you dropping the lock build? I got y'all boys, man. This is gonna be the best prime lock build. I'm gonna actually show two different versions. The first is BAUGHER'S exact build that he uses in all of our Black Market Prime series that y'all watch. Shout out to BAUGHER for allowing me to use his clips. His Twitch and YouTube will be in the description. Make sure y'all click that link and follow my boy, man. And then version 2 is going to be a prime lock for your typical PnR team. We run 5 out, so our lock does have to be able to shoot at the hash. But for normal PnR teams, the lock is usually in the corner. So I'm going to have a build for the 5 out, which is BAUGHER'S build, and then also a lock build for PnR, which in my opinion is the best build for shooting in the corner and still having elite defense. Without further ado, man, let's get straight to the build. So getting into the build, your position actually matters a lot, and let me explain why. You might think we're making a lockdown, so just go small forward, it doesn't really matter. In this case, it does though. If we go small forward and max the weight out, the highest strength we can have is a 91. Now 91 isn't bad, but in my opinion, Hall of Fame immovable enforcer is probably the best badge as a lockdown, and you need a 95 strength to get it. So if we go back and we go power forward instead of small forward and we keep everything the same height, same wingspan, but in this case, now that you're power forward, you can go all the way up to 265.
That's a thick ass bar!
And now going 265, it does allow you to reach that threshold of the 95 strength, which does unlock the Hall of Fame immovable. So that's the reason we go power forward. Now, as regards to the height and wingspan, I know a lot of people like their 6'7" locks, but in this case, I like the 6'6"s because in my opinion, the best thing for a lockdown is speed and also strength. And I feel like being 6'6" allows you to still get a high speed while still getting the 95 strength that you need. It's also the only, the tallest you can be to still get the 96 steal for Hall of Fame right stick ripper and have bronze limitless. It's impossible to get that on a 6'7", and since this version of the build is a hash lock, if y'all know BAUGHER, we played a 5 out with Joe on the Black Market team, so this is going to be his build. That's why we went 6'6". And then for wingspan, obviously max wingspan will be nice, but we went 7'1" wingspan, obviously again to get the 85-3 for that bronze limitless, because you are going to be shooting hash on this build. So we go power forward, 6'6", max weight, 7'1" wingspan. Let's get to the ratings. So starting with finishing, we're going to go straight to standing dunk and raise this to an 85. The 81 standing with the 63 is all you need for silver, but we went with 85 in specific for the package, which does require an 85. And this specific package does give you fast and strong dunk animations. Now for the driving dunk, we're actually leaving it at a 45. Now 45 does still get you some basic packages as y'all see on the screen. But the reason we have it like this is because driving dunk is actually really expensive and standing is pretty cheap to get. And as long as you wait until you're under the rim to attempt your dunk, you'll activate a standing dunk every time, and you'll still be able to finish strong and consistent like I see in the clips, man. Whether it's back doors out the corner or being the roller in a pick and roll up top, or even the fast break, you can still finish effectively around the rim with this build. Moving on to shooting, and a big part of this specific build is the 85 3-pointer we're going to give it for that bronze limitless range. Now having extra badges does help a lot when shooting these hash shots in prime with the defenders closing out last second. So even though you might not be shooting a ton of middies on this build, we actually also max out our midi to a 91 to get all these extra badges, man, like gold blinders, gold deadeye, gold green machine, Hall of Fame guard up, and all these other badges that we wouldn't have as high if we didn't raise our midi. It's crazy to think that raising your mid-range attribute actually helps you make more threes, but in this game, that's the case because of the badges you unlock. And then for free throw, because this is a prime build, BAUGHER wanted to have 99 free throw with Hall of Fame free points to never miss a free throw, and it's definitely nice because he basically hits every free throw. But going back to the shooting, man, another big reason for the high midi is not only the higher tier badges like we mentioned, but also unlocking better jump shots. As y'all know, man, in this 2K, some bases and releases are restricted to certain ratings, and one of the best jump shots, especially for 6'6s, is that Tracy McGrady base. Now, this specific jump shot that Bauer uses, I'm gonna have it on the screen right now. It does require an 88 rating, and with our 3 only being an 85, if we didn't upgrade the midi as high as we did, we wouldn't be able to use this jump shot. And as a lot of y'all know, man, the T-Mac is super glitchy this year in regards to not getting contested, being able to shoot over people. So we definitely wanted that jump shot, especially on a build that's going to be shooting at the hash. And as y'all see in the clips, man, this build and jumper is chicken, and you can continuously green yellow contest game after game. Moving on to playmaking, it's nothing crazy. We go 77 pass act to get that bronze needle threader, which helps, especially in prime, getting the ball in between the defense. And then ball handle, we don't touch it at all. And then speed with ball, we do raise it to a 40 to get that normal dribble style, which does allow you to get that nice quick side to side speed boost like I always do on my build. You may not always have a lot of chances to do it in game, especially being at the hash, but since it's so cheap to get, it's worth it in my opinion, especially when you pair it with a high midi like you do on this build. The main part of the build and what y'all all have been waiting for, the defense. Starting off with the steal, man, I know we think lock and instantly want to go 99 for the Hall of Fame glove, but with everything else we wanted on the build, we simply just couldn't afford it. And I believe going 96 steal for the Hall of Fame right stick ripper is the sweet spot, and you save a lot of attributes going from 99 to 96. And as y'all see in the clips, man, you would think you have a 99 steal because you get so many on-ball steals on this build, just one after another. So you can still basically play as a pure lock and be a pest for the point guard to deal with, while still having a lot of high attributes with the high standing, the high midi, high 3. Not only the on-ball steals though, I would say on this build, but because you get 95 plus, you do get the Hall of Fame interceptor. So you can still get those crazy lane steals on this build and basically just cause havoc on the court. Moving on to perimeter, again, I know as a lock, the mindset is just go high as possible. But in my opinion, 94 rating is a really nice sweet spot because you get Hall of Fame Challenger, Hall of Fame ankle braces at 94, and gold clamps at 93. But also it's a good sweet spot because you don't really gain any other higher tier badge until you reach all the way to a 98 perimeter, where you unlock Hall of Fame pick dodger, which is nice, don't get me wrong, but it's really expensive. And being as though we needed a lot of different stuff on this build to fit our playstyle, with the high standing, the high 3 with the limitless, we needed to save as much attributes as possible here. But as y'all see in the clips, man, the build still gets super bumpy, fighting through screens, big bumps up the court, making the PG get rid of the ball, smothering shots with the Hoff Challenger. And even when it looks like you're not fully there, you still get a high contest most of the time. And I'm not saying 98 perimeter isn't worth it or isn't needed. If you guys wait and see my version 2 of this build for a lock that plays in pick and roll, you'll see what I do with that build. But for this exact build and the style that we play, it was just impossible to get it with everything else that we had to get. And as y'all see, man, Bauer still gets the job done with this build just fine. Moving on to block, I've seen a lot of block builds that have the high steal, high perimeter, but then they have a 25 block. For our build, we're gonna go with a 77 block, and I know you get chased down at 68, and 68 is kind of the sweet spot that a lot of people go to if they do upgrade their block, because you don't really gain anything else badge-wise for going higher. But in my opinion, block is super important, not only for being able to get blocks and get stops in the paint, but also for getting good jump contests in the perimeter. If you guys didn't know, block is tied to the jumps you get when pressing Y. And if you have a 25 block and you try to run out to a shooter and jump at him to get a good contest, you're not really going to get a good jump a lot of the times because of the low block rating that you have. Moving on to an interior, we're going all the way to an 82. And again, I see a lot of locks completely disregard this rating, and I can understand why, because as a lock, you're mostly guarding the perimeter, so why would you upgrade your interior? Well, it really kind of depends on how you like to play defense with your team. For us specifically, me and Bauer do call a lot of full switches in game, which means on the screen, I would pick up the point guard and Bauer would drop down and guard the center. Because we like to make this defensive call a lot, we decided it best to give Bauer high interior so he can better guard the paint when he is down there. Another surprising rating we are going to upgrade, and again it falls under the way we play specifically as a team, is going with an 85 rebound. Going 83 gives you that silver rebound chaser, and reaching that 85 mark gives you that gold box out beast, which is what we were aiming for. Because me and Bauer like to call full switches and Bauer ends up in the paint at times, we felt like it was important that he can get good box outs to help us secure those rebounds. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, speed in my opinion is one of the most important ratings on a lock, so we're going to max it out to an 87, and then we're going to go take our excel to a 77 to get that gold fast feet. Having to guard these small guards coming up the court with these 90 speed with balls, it can be tough, but having that high speed, you'll be able to keep up with all the side-to-side movements that they like to do, and you can even steal the ball a lot of the times just for being in the right position. Moving on to strength, and the main reason we went at the power forward position, we're going to go to a 95 strength for that Hall of Fame immovable enforcer. Man, this badge, especially on Hall of Fame, is so good because it allows you to get super crazy bumps, a lot of the times forcing the ball handler to pick up the dribble. Whether it's on the perimeter or you switch to the center on the roll, you can get big body animations and make it tough for the offensive player all around. And people also believe that being so heavy in weight and getting the big body type allows you to get more bump steals since your hitbox is bigger, so that's a big benefit as well. For vertical, we're going to leave it at a 63. 63 gives us that silver rise up badge, and then for stamina, it's so important for a lock to go with 99 to get that Hall of Fame workhorse and Hall of Fame 94 feet. These badges, especially 94 feet, will stress PGs out because straight from the inbounds, you can get crazy bumps all up the court and make it difficult for them to set up in their offense. And as y'all see in the clips, man, meeting the PG at the baseline and just causing chaos up the entire court. So that's it for Baughers build, man. A really good build, specifically made to shoot at the hash with that 85-30 ball while still keeping the elite defense and high standing and all these other things. You get the name two-way spot up threat, which is pretty cool. But now let's move on to version 2 for a pure lock build that shoots from the corner. So moving on to version 2, which is a pure lock type build, we're going to follow the same format as before of going power forward, 6'6", and a max weight so we get that Hall of Fame movable enforcer. One change here though, because we don't have to worry about getting an 85-3 for that bronze limitless since we're not shooting at the hash on this build, you can go with a 7'2" wingspan, which is just one under max. You can go max wingspan, which is 7'3", because wingspan affects your strength, and if you do go max wingspan, you won't be able to get the 95 strength. Moving on to the attributes, we're going to follow a similar style version 1 of high standing and low driving to save some attributes, but instead of the 85 standing like Baughers build had, we can only afford to get a 73, which gives you that fast twitch and rise up on bronze, and then we keep the 40 driving to get those few dunk packages. Obviously it won't be as good as the 85, but 73 should still be more than enough to finish consistently in the paint. For shooting, our 3 can max out at an 84, but I tweaked every possible attribute when making this build, and as much as I would love to have an 84-3, I can only afford to get a 79 paired with an 87 mid-range. Now I know I'm missing out on the extra badges like Bauer had on his build with the gold deadeye, blinders, green machine. Again, I couldn't afford to go any higher, and I wanted to reach at least the 87 threshold because that's the minimum rating you can have to unlock the T-Mac base, which is one of, if not the best base in the game. Here's a custom jump shot I made that only requires an 87 rating like this build gets and will have you shooting unlimited greens. And then for free throw, all we can afford was a 75. You at least get the bronze free points, but it's not going to be a 99 like Baughers build. For playmaking, we do take a bit of a hit here compared to version 1. Instead of the 77 pass sack, we're only going with a 68, which gives you that bronze break starter. So if you do get a steal and your teammates are out on the break, you can still get it to them. Ball handle, we don't touch at all. And then speed with ball, we want to have at least a 40 in order to get that normal dribble style, which does allow you to do that nice little speed boost. Now for all my pure locks out there that just want to lock PGs up and just go crazy on defense, this is the build for you, man. We're going to go with a 99 steal for that Hall of Fame glove and also a 98 perimeter for that Hall of Fame pick dodger. And if that wasn't enough, this build still gets the 95 strength needed to get that Hall of Fame immovable enforcer, man. Just looking at this build, you can tell it's a monster on the court defensively. And personally, if I'm a PG on the other team and I look at my matchup and I see 99 steal, 98 perimeter, 95 strength lock guarding me, I'm dashboarding. What makes this even crazier is that the build still gets the 68 block for that bronze chase down, and then you're still able to max out the speed at an 87 as well as the stamina to a 99 to get the Hall of Fame badges. All in all, man, when you look at the build, you can still finish around the basket with the standing dunks. You can shoot lights out from the corner because you unlock the best jump shot in T-Mac. You have the 40 speed with ball to do that little speed boost to get yourself open. You have the 99 steal, 98 perim, 95 strength, 87 speed. So you're literally harassing the PG all game. And then you can still get the chase downs with the 68 block, man. I apologize to all my guards in advance, but I really might have broken the builder with this lock build. And then to end it off, the funniest part of it all, you get called a spot up threat. No type of two-way, no nothing that shows you're a defender in the name, but you being a pure lock, I don't understand how 2K got it to be like this. But that's it for the build, man. I'm sorry it took me so long to get this video out. If you're interested in watching version 1 of this build playing live, you can catch me in my live streams. I stream Prime literally every single night with Joe Knows and Bauer and the Black Market team. If you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on noties, man. I always have the best builds, and I will continue to be dropping the best builds for y'all. If y'all interested in the best center build, especially for Prime, that's the build on the screen right now. But until next time, man, I'm out of here. God bless. Peace.